Hi crafty friends, welcome back to Create with Miss Jane. Today I'm going to create 3 scrapbook pages using the new Make a Memory Scrapbooking Kit, and this is a brand new kit that came out in the month of June. And I'm so excited to show you this kit today. It comes in this beautiful brown box and you get these instructions. I have obviously recorded this video earlier today, but it's been raining and cold and overcast today, so I apologize if the lighting is not very good in this video, but these are the full color instructions that you get with the kit. It also has a QR code that you can scan and you can actually watch a video. It goes for about 5 minutes on YouTube from official Stampin' Up, and they will show you how to pop some of the layouts together and also what comes in the kit. But you do get these little 4x6 cards. They are printed only on one side and they are white on the back. They are quite a nice cardstock, and you've got all the different patterns and textures inside this kit. So I love all the soft neutral colors and pastel tones of this kit. You also get some glue dots and some tear and tape, and then you get so much jam-packed in this brown box. You get these 2 sheets of designer pattern paper, and they obviously are lovely strips which will probably cut up, and then you get all of these die cut sheets. These are all little tags, punch out journal boxes, strips, and then you get your full sheets of paper. Now these are intended to be background sheets of paper, so they're intended to build your scrapbook pages on these layouts, and they are pre-printed, but you can also cut the pages up. So this just works as pattern paper. The only thing is that it's only on one side. It's not double-sided like our normal designer series paper, but the cardstock is quite thick and really nice quality. And I love all the neutral tones. Like, they did a really good job of making the backgrounds very neutral so that you can just pop your photos straight down on top of them. Then you get 2 sheets of the beautiful die cuts with all the flowers and little icons and things. So I really love all of the amazing die cut ephemera pieces that just easily punch out. And I'm going to show you in a little bit how easy these punch out, because we're going to do it all together. Then you get 1 sheet of titles, and you get so many letters and titles here that you can use on your pages. And then you also get them in another few languages, which is, I believe, French and German. And then there's also this beautiful sticker sheet of leaves and beautiful little sprigs. And they're in all the different colors that appear in this particular kit. So I'm going to go back to the instructions because I want to show you the colors on the back here. And these are the colors if you do have some of this cardstock handy in your collection. We've got basic beige, basic grey, cloud cover, which is a brand new color, crumb cake, darling duckling, grey granite, lost lagoon, petal pink, pretty peacock, secret sea, which is another new color, shaded spruce, and very vanilla. So I have just gone through my stash of close to my heart cardstock and also Stampin' Up cardstock, and I've got out some colors that I think will work well with this collection. So I've got out a few of the petal pink and the lost lagoon and some other colors from my close to my heart stash. I've also grabbed some of the placeholders that I've got left over from previous kits, and I've grabbed my color wheel because that's going to be super helpful. Now for the inspiration for these layouts, because there are not very many instructions in the box, you can use whatever you like. So I have turned here to page 28 of the annual book, and I'm actually going to copy these scrapbook template sketches here. They don't have any measurements on them, but they're a good starting off point, and I really love them. So we're going to give this a go. This is the first time I've used these scrapbook template sketches. So now I'm just going to punch out all of the little ephemera pieces. We're going to start with the 2 sheets of die cuts that are all the little tags and frames and journal boxes. And I have obviously fastened up this video so that it's not too long, but also so that you can see how easy and quick these are to punch out. It only takes a few minutes to gather all of the things together. And when I'm actually designing these pages, I have used inspiration from a few ladies, Sarah Shipton here in Australia, and also Holly Vasilinek over in America, and Jennifer Smith over in Canada. They are all fellow Stampin' Up demonstrators, and I loved their page layouts and designs, and so I have used them as inspiration for my pages. But I do want to make my own twist and give my own creativity, because that's what I do love about this particular collection. You could actually make a whole lot of cards or off the page projects. You could even make a little scrapbook 6x8 album or a little 6x6 album. But I am going to make 12x12 scrapbooks because that's what I am passionate about, and that's usually how I chronologically store my photos, in 12x12 scrapbooks. So now I'm going to go ahead and punch out all of these little die cuts. These are my favorite part of the whole kit, these little ephemera pieces. You've got little strawberries, super cute, beautiful flowers, this darling little bike. There's also some pink hearts. And I love the combination of the petal pink with the pretty peacock. I think that's a really beautiful colour combination. And you've got the new colour Darling Duckling and Secret Sea and Cloud Cover featured in this box. So for those of you who are playing along at home, I'm actually doing a voiceover today, because sometimes it's hard to create and talk at the same time. So if you do hear the ice cream truck in the background, it is going around our street at the moment. But I absolutely love punching out these little ephemera pieces, and they come out so easily. And then I'm just popping them into little piles on my page, getting them ready for my pages. So I'm just popping them into little piles. I've put all the fruit together. I've put the bike and the camera and the world globe together, and then I've put all the hearts together and all the flowers together, and I've popped all the little strips together. So these are the two 12x12 sheets of paper that were all designed with the little strips in mind. So these have got all the colourful strips, and you could use these as a base page, but I've decided that I'm going to cut all of mine up. So I'm going to cut them up into little strips, and then I can use them across all of my pages. So obviously this particular kit is designed for 12 pages, to make 12 little scrapbook single pages, but I wanted to turn a lot of my pages into double layouts. I saw Jennifer Smith and also Janice Gulhuli had turned their scrapbook kit into double page layouts, and I thought that was such a great idea. So I'm going to make a few single page layouts just as a title page, but mostly the layouts that I'm going to create are going to be double pages. So we'll make a few in this particular video, and then if you want to pop over to part two will be coming next week. I will create a few more. So we're going to start with this layout here on page 28 of the catalogue, and this one is quite simple. So I have just used the chevron paper here, and this was one of the printed pieces of paper, and I really liked this piece of paper, so I didn't cut it down or anything, but I have matted two little 4x6 squares, so they are 4x6 photo wells. So I have matted them with 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, so 3x4, and then there's one 4x6. So that was one of the photo mats that came in the kit, and now I have just cut down a little piece of white daisy. So I've cut it down a little bit so you can see the 4x6 card in the background. I'm using one of these little tags, and this layout was based on a layout I saw from Jennifer Smith, and I have just added my own little twist on it and changed a few of the photo wells and the titles. But I loved how she added the rose to this page, and you guys know I grow roses at home, so I really love my roses. So I definitely will be able to find some lovely photos from my garden to pop on this page. I am trying really hard since I joined Stampin' Up in May last year to actually add photos to my scrapbook pages as soon as I make my pages. I got into the really bad habit as a close to my heart maker for 11 years that I created a lot of scrapbook pages to inspire my customers and my fellow team members, but they sat empty. I call them naked pages, but I made a lot of scrapbook pages that sat in boxes and scrapbook albums with no photos on them, and that's not the ideal situation. So sorry if you do see some of my curls in the view there. I'm really sorry about that, but I am standing up to scrapbook while I'm making these layouts, and some of my curls have gone into the camera a few times, so I apologize. But I am just centering this little 4x6 photo mat in the middle of those beautiful colorful chevrons, and then I'm using my tape runner to add a little bit of adhesive to those photo mats and then popping them onto the petal pink cardstock. So for this particular layout, I wanted to keep to the 3 colours because the chevrons were quite colourful in the background. I thought I would keep to 3 colours. So on this layout, we have used petal pink, we have used a little bit of the darling duckling, and then we have used the pretty peacock. So if you want to keep your layouts elegant and not too cluttered, it's a good idea to use 3 colours maximum, and then you can always bring in those neutral tones like the basic beige and the basic grey and the crumb cake. So now we're just going to pop those photo mats down, and then we're going to raise up some of the elements on foam tape. It actually comes together quite quickly once you follow the sketch. So I have loosely followed this sketch because this sketch had one large sort of 5x7 photo in the middle, but that's the good thing about a sketch. It's just a jumping off point. It's just to give you ideas. You can also follow lots of our Close to My Heart sketchbooks. If you were a fan of Close to My Heart for many years like we were, we have lots of beautiful sketchbooks that we can always refer back to. Now I'm just popping down at that little pink ephemera piece, and then I'm going to add this title, and I'm going to raise the little title up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. And then I like to raise things up. It always elevates the page. Usually, as a rule of thumb, I always raise up the little ephemera elements and also the title. But when I want to do some kind of journaling, like that little frame at the top there, I'm going to put the title over that. So I'm going to pop that flat down on my page. So not all of them are raised up, but we're going to raise up this little rose because it's really sweet. So we're going to pop some ephemera under that. And honestly, I was really surprised with how quick these layouts came together because all of the things in this box mix and match together so well. So you'll be really pleasantly surprised. And I'm always tempted when I do get one of these kits, while I'm creating the pages, I'm always having so much fun, and I'm always thinking in my head, I really want to grab another one of these kits so I can make cards. When I play with the card kits, I think, oh, this would make great scrapbook pages. And when I play with the scrapbook kits, I think, oh, this would make great cards. So now I'm just going to use my tweezers. You could also use your pick tool. And I'm just going to pry that title up. So this one says Celebrate. So I have chosen to put Celebrate as my main title. And it's quite sticky, so I'm just maneuvering it with my tweezers. And then it says down the bottom there, the smaller title says The Little Things. So I know that I'll probably put photos from my garden of my roses onto this page. So I thought the title Celebrate the Little Things is really appropriate. Now I'm just going to add a few little extra flowers. I want to kind of create that visual triangle. So I feel like it needs a little bit of green up in the top corner. So I've grabbed one of the little leaf stickers. I absolutely love all these leaves that they have added these leaves because it's going to really add some beautiful dimension to our pages. I'm going to raise these up on a little bit of foam tape. And then we're going to complete the page. It was super easy and fun to do. And again, this was based on a layout from the beautiful Jennifer Smith. I absolutely love her particular scrapbooking style. It always appeals to me. And then I've just noticed down the bottom here, I didn't put enough Stampin' Dimensionals on that little title. So I'm just going to try to lift it up and put a few more Stampin' Dimensionals underneath that. I'll do that off camera. And then we definitely need to add some embellishments. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some embellishments. I'll show you a few of my favorites that I think that will match this kit pretty well. So over here we have got quite a few little embellishments that I have grabbed from my stash. These are quite new. So we've got the 2025 to 2027 in color pearls, and I've used them in quite a few of my last videos. And then these are new embellishments, Strawberry Slush and Pretty Pink Gems. I love those. I'm going to use those. And then I've also pulled out these adhesive backed hearts and flowers from the clearance section. And those ones are going to work well with the colors in this kit as well. But you could grab any sort of embellishment that you have. You could also add ribbon to these pages. It's kind of endless what you could add to these pages. You could add some stamping. You could add some die cut flowers. I wanted to try to create the pages just with the contents that was in the kit. So now we're going to create a double page layout. We're going to create layout 2 and 3. So I'm going to use this particular sketch from the sketchbook as well, from the catalogue. This is the scrapbooking template sketches, and I'm really enjoying these. They're coming together really quickly, but I wanted to show you on the colour wheel that these are the 3 colours that we're using. We're using Petal Pink, Pretty Peacock, and also Darling Duckling, which is not on the colour wheel because it's a brand new colour, but I wanted to show you that it's going to always elevate your layout if you just stick to 3 main colours and then your neutral backgrounds. So I have picked out some pretty pink dotted paper. So the Petal Pink paper is a nice dotted paper, and I have cut that down, and then I have also cut down a neutral piece of paper as well. So the big piece of paper in the middle is actually I cut it in half, so it's 12 inches by 6 inches. And then I've cut a little strip of yellow down to fit underneath my title, and then I have picked some of the elements here. So I wanted to use the inspiration that I saw from Jennifer Smith, and she popped her strawberries and lemons together on one page, and I thought that looked really fresh and pretty. So I've made mine slightly different to her, but I have gone with that particular design. So the piece of paper that I cut was this Petal Pink dotted paper, and the bottom section is 3 inches by 12 inches, and the top section is 2 inches by 12 inches. So I managed to get enough for both the double page layout, and then this little striped flowery piece is it's like a little floral piece. I actually cut that in half. So that was 1.5 inches by 12 inches, and I just cut it to 3.25 inches. And then we've got our 6 by 12 inch piece in the middle, which is kind of like a browny grey colour. And I thought that kind of resembled maybe like the strawberry patch. So I thought that would go really well with the strawberries. And then I have used the Pretty Peacock colour. I had one that was kind of a bit similar in my stash of cardstock. I'm trying to use up all of my Close to My Heart cardstock before I buy the new two-tone cardstock. So this is one of the little banner pieces from the die cut sheet, and I have decided that I'm going to dovetail this little Darling Duckling yellow strip of paper. I wanted something for my title to sit on. I didn't want my title just to be floating in the middle of the banner at the bottom. So I thought this little piece of yellow would add some beautiful colour. And then I've just added the little title that says Currently Loving. And now I'm going to raise up these little ephemera onto with the Stampin' Dimensionals. So I've already popped them on the back, and I'm just going to take off the little sticky pieces. And then I'm raising those up. So what I'm trying to do is this first page that we're creating, I've got the second page sitting there already ready to go. I've kind of planned the pages out before I stick them down, but I want to create a visual triangle going across my page. So that's why I've started in the bottom left-hand corner, and then I've popped something up in the top right-hand corner. So now we're going to move on to the second page. We're going to do this exactly the same, but this particular page I have used 4x6 photos instead of, I've used 4x4 photos on this layout, and the first layout I used 4x6 photos. So again, I'm sticking that piece which is 3x12 on the bottom, and the piece that is 2x12 on the top of that pretty beautiful, that's my favorite color from this kit, the Petal Pink. And it's a really beautiful dotty paper. And then I'm going to add that little strip of floral paper. And then I have left a little bit of a white border. I think that just adds a little freshness. I was thinking of adding some shimmer trim or glitter paper from my stash, or even a bit of ribbon, but I thought I just like that little bit of white showing either side. And then this was one of the 4x6 little cards that came in the kit, and I really liked that the florals matched. So I thought we could use that as a grounding piece for our title, so that our title wasn't just slapped down on the page. I wanted to have some kind of structure behind the title to ground it. So then we have popped down our little photo mats, and then I decided that I was going to add this little journal box in the petal pink colour. And then I've picked out this title which says Fun Together, because I'm thinking that if I'm going to add photos to this down the track, I'm probably going to be adding photos of us eating food. Something maybe like a sweet treat or a cupcake or a sundae or something. So I thought Fun Together would be a nice title. I really wanted to add, when I was thinking about the titles for these particular layouts, I really wanted to add 2 different types of fonts together. So instead of adding the same fonts, I wanted to add, to make sort of a bit more visual interest. So I've got the like scripty font with the together, and then I've got the more blocky bold font with the fun. And I did that on purpose. So you'll see that across all of my layouts, that I wanted to mix and match the fonts together for the titles to create a little bit more interest. So I'm just using my Take My Pick tool to actually pop those stickers down flush with the page. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals to raise up these elements. I decided to pop the lemon down flat next to the journal box, and then I'm going to add some dimension to the other little elements. And we're nearly finished with this page. I decided that I needed a little bit more color and to balance it out. So I've actually gone ahead and added some of the little sticker floral pieces, the little leaves and foliage. And I'm just trying to figure out where to pop it on the page. I don't want it to go over my photo too much because I know that I'm going to stick my photo down. So this particular color went really well with the layout. It wasn't too overpowering. I thought about using the darker green color, but then I decided to use the softer green. So I think that's the Lost Lagoon color. I'm still trying to learn all the colors from Stampin' Up. It's hard. I did Close to My Heart for many, many years, and I knew all the colors off by heart, but I am slowly learning. It's only been a year since I've been in Stampin' Up, but it's been so fun to adapt a new company, new scrapbooking supplies, new card making supplies, and it's really pushed me outside of my comfort zone. So now I've added on all of those bits and pieces, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add these ones. So these are absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't grabbed these, you need to add them to your stash of embellishments. These are the Strawberry Slush and Pretty Pink Gems, and they have got flecks of gold in them as well. So you get 3 colorways. You get like a light gold, a light pink, and then a darker pink. So I'm adding the Pretty and Pink Pink, which is the middle pink color, and I'm adding that around my layout, and it's just adding the most beautiful, perfect touch. So when I put my gems on, I usually put them in groups of 2s or 3s. So you'll see here when I show you how the layout goes, we have that visual triangle going on. So that just creates balance going across the layouts when you have a little bit of a triangle. And now I'm just adding the finishing touches to my layout. I'm super excited with how these pages are coming together, and I can't wait to show you the rest of them. I'm definitely going to be making a lot more double page layouts from this Make a Memory kit, and I hope you will grab it and start playing with it as well. Thanks so much for watching today. Well, that's a wrap on part 1 of Make a Memory Scrapbooking Kit. We've made the first 3 pages. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite, the rose flower one or the strawberry lemon one. I would love to know. Can't wait to create more pages. We're going to be creating at least 12 pages with this gorgeous kit. Make sure you grab it before it sells out. Thanks for liking and commenting on this video. And as always, please subscribe to see part 2, and I will be back with a new card making and scrapbooking video next week. See you then.